So welcome to all in this lecture number 12 of module 2, that is Sanskar. So friends, in previous lectures we studied various formulations given in tradition that help us to live a harmonious life, that help us to purify our sanskars. Today onwards, in lecture number 12, 13 and 14, we are going to discuss about sanskar, culture and civilization. So in these three lectures, we will study what is the importance of sanskar, what is the importance of culture, what is the importance of civilization, and how are they interconnected. So let's start from lecture number 12, Sanskar. So from in previous lectures, we studied about development of right understanding, development of right feelings, right thoughts in myself, and we also studied the process of purification of accumulated sanskars, because my sanskars are going to reflect everywhere, whether I am communicating to others, whether I am interacting with others. My sanskar are going to play a very important role. Whatever we think, whatever we take decisions, there is a very important role of sanskars. So in this lecture, we are going to study how a collective level efforts impacts individual sanskar and how individual sanskar is connected with the whole society. This we are going to study especially in this lecture, lecture number 12. So let's start from sanskar. So you must have studied in UHV2 and UHV3. Sanskar is the acceptance in my imagination, acceptance of desire, thought and expectation. So basically, sanskar means whatever is going on in my imagination all the time is sanskar. So sanskar is basically all the acceptance in my desire, thought and expectation is actually sanskar. Or in other words, we can say whatever is going on in my imagination, whatever I have given importance in my desire, thought and expectation is basically a sanskar. If we see present situation, so presently it is a mixture of reality and some assumption. So understanding of human reality, universal, invariant existential laws, principles may ensure harmonious sanskars in us. And parallelly, we have drawn many conclusions from life experiences, whether it aligned with existential laws or not, but we have assumed something about that. So both type of acceptance are in us. So presently it has become a mixture of some beliefs and some reality. So we can say what I am is largely our sanskar. My tendencies, my way of thinking is largely based on our sanskars, our perspective, our likes and dislikes, our basis of decisions. It is all because of our sanskar. So if my sanskar are based on reality, then my decision, my feeling, my thoughts are in harmony. If my feeling, thoughts are based on some assumption, it may not ensure harmony in myself. So under the influence of such assumptions, my behavior, my conduct, my work may get influenced. So if we see present situation and you can investigate it, you can observe yourself whether your present sanskar are aligned with the reality, coexistential laws, coexistential principles, or your sanskars are also based on beliefs, assumptions, preconditionings, you can observe in yourself, you can investigate in yourself. Now, this sanskar can be updated over time. Actually, it updates over time. So, sanskar at the moment of t plus 1 depends on sanskar at this moment t plus environment at this moment and self-exploration at this moment. This can update my sanskar. So, what does it mean? It means what I am presently due to my sanskar at this moment, and I have got some environment around me. If I start self-exploration, if I investigate my sanskars, if I evaluate my sanskars, then my sanskar gets updated. The updation of sanskars are in my hand, and this process of self-exploration helps very much updating in my sanskar in right direction. It doesn't matter whether I have good environment or not. If I am not exploring myself, if I am not updating my sanskar, then the influence of environment may continue for a moment, but it cannot be sustainable. For sustaining this sanskar, for sustaining good feelings, thought in me, I have to start this process of self-exploration. So, you have seen many people, those who have good environment, but qualitative shift is not in them. Why? Because they are not exploring themselves. They are not evaluating their imagination, desire, thought and expectation. So, whatever you are receiving this time, you accept it or you reject it, whatever you take decision is because of your present sanskar. So, if my lecture, my way, my contents matches with your sanskar, then you accept it easily. If my contents does not match with your sanskar, then you reject it immediately. So, that's why don't accept it, don't reject it. We are giving some content, we are providing you environment. Keep exploring it, investigating yourself. After investigation, if you find it according to coexistential laws, keep it continuous, otherwise you may reject it. With this manner, your sanskars are updated. So, updation of your sanskar are basically in your hand. So, as we self-explore, verify and understand, our sanskar gets updated. And if we talk about environment, the culture, civilization, whatever is around us is actually an environment. The issue is, I am ready to self-explore or not. This you have to ask. So, sometimes you are in good environment, sometimes you are not in good environment, but the important point is whether I am ready to self-explore myself, whether I am ready to self-investigate myself. Myself means my desire, thought and expectation, my imagination. If I do this, then my sanskars gets updated. So, there are basically two goals of these ceremonies. If you observe your environment, there are many rituals, there are many ceremonies which are present in our culture. So, what is meaning of those functions? What is meaning of those culture? What is the meaning of different ceremonies which we enjoy in our life? So, it has two basic goals. Number one, to develop our sanskars further from where we are now. So, you have seen many society activities around you through various festivals, through various activities. What is the purpose of those activities? Number one, those activities may help you to develop your sanskars further and to develop the commitment and competence for the roles we are about to play. So the purpose of these ceremonies means like birth ceremony, education ceremony, marriage ceremony. What are the importance of these ceremonies in my life? Actually, these ceremonies are related to our sanskar. These ceremonies can update our sanskars. These ceremonies are help us to develop our competence, to recognize our role in the societies. So there are various rituals that transfer their way of thinking to next generation. So when we follow any rituals, what happens actually? I get some guidance, I get some ways to continue those thoughts, those thinking. So unknowingly, it becomes our part and it continues generation by generation. So what are those sanskars? What are those events? What are those ceremonies? So we are going to study these ceremonies like gestation ceremony, birth ceremony, naming ceremony, birthday ceremony, education ceremony, initiation ceremony, profession ceremony, marriage, death ceremony. So we are going to study the importance of these ceremonies in updating my sanskar, to remind me my role for the welfare of the society. So basically, now we will study all these ceremonies and their importance in updating my sanskar. So let's study one by one. So first is gestation ceremony. Ceremony for to be father and mother, to be parents. So what does it mean? Why this ceremony is important for us? So it basically reminds the parents their responsibility, because one human being, which is actually a coexistence of self and body, is about to come in family. So as a parents, there are some responsibility which are expected to be fulfilled. So this ceremony basically reminds us those responsibilities, because we are now parents, and as a parents, what I have to do for my child. This ceremony reminds us all these things. So this has to ensure even the child is in the womb, mother's womb. So what can we do as a parents? A conducive environment for the child sanskar. We can create a conducive environment so that their the child sanskar gets purified. So to be purified of child sanskar, a conducive environment is required. So what are basic requirements for this? Number one, the health of the body of the parents. So number one, as a parent, we have to take care of our body, because we are going to take care of the body of coming child. So it's necessary that our body as a parents is healthy, so that we can take care of our child body. Number two, the conduct of the parents. It's very important, because when the child takes birth, he or she will start following you, imitating you. For that, the conduct of parents must be conducive, must be according to coexistential principles, so that when following the parents, the child starts ensuring harmony. Then feeling and thought of harmony in the parents and the family. So it is another important point, that feeling and thought of the parents should be in harmony. So if we provide this environment for the child, then the development of child, then the sanskar of child starts updating. This environment will help the child, this environment will help to improve the competence of child to live in a harmonious manner. So it is important of gestation ceremony. Let's see another birth ceremony. So birth ceremony to ensure a conducive environment at the time of birth. Now the child has taken birth. Now it's a collective responsibility of everyone in the family to ensure a conducive environment for the child. So for example, my feeling as a parent, my thoughts, if are in harmony, then it will help that child, because child start observing you. So the way we talk, the way we think, child is going to imitate this. So it is a responsibility of parent. It is the responsibility of now every member of the family to ensure a conducive environment at the time of birth. So for example, as a parent, I am living with feeling of trust, with feeling of respect. I am able to ensure harmony in myself. I am living with the feeling of love and compassion. All this have to ensure for the coming child. So birth ceremony is basically a reminder that now the child has come and you have to ensure this conducive environment for the child so that he or she can live his or her life with coexistential principles, with feeling of love, with feeling of compassion. That's why the birth ceremony is celebrated. So next is naming ceremony. What does it mean? This ceremony is about naming a child. So a name is essential to address the child. So the name should be meaningful. If name is meaningful, then at some ages, child wants to know what is the name of meaning and meaning of the name. If the name is aligned with the harmony, coexistential principle, or it indicates some reality of this existence, then knowing the meaning will help that child to know the reality. At least he or she can pay attention towards the reality that is indicating by the name. So while putting the name, while giving a name to the child, it is very important that the name should indicate a reality, because very soon the child is going to ask you, what is the meaning of my name? And if it is meaningful, if it indicates some reality, then child may pay attention towards that reality. In fact, not only child, the other members may pay, their friends may pay the reality, may pay the attention towards the reality. Similarly, birthday ceremony. So this ceremony is to draw attention to human purpose, the role of one's sanskar, its present status. This all is a reminder at the time of birthday ceremony. So relatives come to enjoy this birthday ceremony. Now it's a responsibility of relative to evaluate the sanskar of that child after 1 year, then in second year, then in third year. And they should commit to help that child so that their sanskar, their conduct is improved. So for example, the target state of one sanskar, the present state of one sanskar, celebrate the development of one sanskar from last year to this year. This all responsibility has to ensure from their relatives who are coming to celebrate this birthday ceremony. And they should commit. The child should commit. The child should know what is remaining in their sanskar. So family, friends, members of the society make commitment for the development of the child, development of the sanskar of the child. So by this way, this ceremony becomes useful. This ceremony becomes purposeful. Let's move towards education ceremony, initiation ceremony. So what is education ceremony? Education ceremony is at the beginning of formal education. It basically reminds one's role to the student that you are going to make effort in the right, with the right understanding, in the right direction. And the initiation ceremony conducted at the end of formal education draws attention toward right living on the basis of right understanding. So basically, education ceremony draws attention towards various activities required to develop right understanding, and initiation ceremony towards living on the basis of right understanding. So basically, in this whole education process, the student wants to develop his or her right understanding. So education ceremony basically pay attention towards the various activities through which the right understanding can be developed in child. And once it is done, so after the education, now student is going to participate in the society. The student is going to live in the society. He or she is going to interact in the society. So this ceremony reminds this responsibility that you are going to live in society. Now you have to live according to your right understanding, right feeling. Okay. So while in an education institution, the main focus is on development of right understanding, though it is a part of discipline of the education institution. So after leaving the education institute, one has to live on one's own right. So if the education helps us, the child, to investigate themselves, to explore themselves, then he or she becomes aware of the innate faculty. Now he is ready to verify the things on the basis of his or her right understanding. Once he understands, then he feels committed with right understanding, living with right understanding. So thus at this stage, the initiation ceremony to remind of this commitment to live with right understanding. Okay, friends. Now let's understand profession ceremony. In this ceremony, attention is drawn towards the various aspects to be kept in mind while choosing a profession. So now a student is going to participate through some skill. He is going to choose a profession. So before choosing a profession, he should have the feeling of prosperity. He should know his role. He should know about the 4 orders and his participation in these 4 orders. So this ceremony basically is to draw attention that now you are going to play a very important role in the society. Now you have to participate in ensuring the 4 comprehensive goals in the society. It means right understanding in every individual, prosperity in family, fearlessness in society, and coexistence with nature. So you choose profession accordingly so that you may participate in one of those goals. This is the basic purpose of profession ceremony. Now let's another marriage ceremony. In this ceremony, all those things necessary to live in harmony as a householder is required. So we are going to live together. There are some commitment, there are some responsibilities, there are some expectations which are to be fulfilled. There are some expectations from the society that as a family member we have to fulfill this. So this is a ceremony of reminding all those commitment and responsibilities. Okay. Then the last is death ceremony. So what is the purpose of this ceremony? The purpose is to be free of pain at the time of death. So this ceremony updates our sanskars, or this ceremony helps us to pay attention that I am not the body, I am only the self, so that the person may free from the fear of, the pain of leaving the body. So this ceremony helps us in this direction to become free of the sanskars related to our likes and dislikes. So this ceremony helps us to evaluate our likes and dislikes on the basis of reality. So by this way, this ceremony helps us to get rid of, to become free of our likes and dislikes and pay attention only on the reality. Another purpose is to remind the self of its ongoing journey through development of sanskar. Continue with good sanskar and getting rid of the bad sanskars. So this ceremony basically reminds us, this ceremony basically tells us that you have to evaluate your sanskars that you have lived in your whole life. And you have to evaluate what are the good sanskars, what are the bad sanskars, so that at the time of leaving this body, you may continue with good sanskars. So by this way, this ceremony again helps us to evaluate our sanskar, to update our sanskar. So let's sum up the whole lecture. We have studied that sanskar means acceptance of desire, thought and expectation all the time. This is my sanskar. What I have accepted in my desire, thought and expectation, important for me, is actually my sanskar. There are two basic goals of sanskar. Number one, to develop our sanskar further from we are now, and another one is to develop the commitment and competence for the roles that I have to play in the society. And for this development, there are various ceremonies in the society. So basically this ceremony help us to develop our sanskar. These ceremonies help us reminding our role. These ceremonies tells us about our commitment for a harmonious society, for a harmonious family. I hope you have understood the importance of this ceremony in one sanskar. So that's all from my side for this lecture. Now we will meet in next lecture and we will talk about culture. Thank you very much. Have a good day.